Here we're going to learn the process of completing the square, which is a process we combine along with the square root property to solve some quadratic equations I'll show you in the next lesson. So for today, we are kind of working on an in-between step. You are starting with expressions that look like this: something squared plus number times whatever your variable is plus blank. Our goal today here is to do two different things. We're going to find the value that completes the square, aka the number that's going to go in the box here, or the blank here. And then we are also, once we know what this number is, going to factor this as x, and then either plus or minus, depending on the sign of the number here, squared. When we carefully use the process I'm going to show you, it's called completing the square because it will take our beginning expression and turn it into what's called a perfect square, which factors as the same factor times itself. I'll show you all that in context once we have numbers to work with, otherwise it's just very confusing. So everything comes down to the number in the b position, which is the number right here. So in this first one, b is -6. We need to find b over 2, which for this problem, since b is -6, b divided by 2 is -6 divided by 2, which is -3. And then we're going to take that number and square it. We're going to do b over 2 squared. B over 2 squared is going to be -3 squared, which is -3 times -3, which is +9. So then we're going to take these two numbers and put them in special places. The squared version, the second number you found, b over 2 squared, goes in the blank here. And then the first number you found, b over 2, goes into the factoring. When we factor it, it's always going to be your variable, so x. Same sign as your b, so since b was and then your b over 2 number. Since b over 2 is a -3, it's going to be a -3, and then it's squared. So having this completely filled in with the 9 here and the factoring here is what you need to do for this problem. Why did we do all this? Well, if I take this x minus 3 squared, which really stands for x minus 3 times x minus 3, if I multiply that out, I get x squared minus 3x minus 3x plus 9. And when I combine my like terms, I get exactly this expression here. So I've taken, once I have this number filled in correctly here, taken this expression into something that can be factored as a perfect square, meaning x plus or minus a number all squared, which then means I could, if I had to equal 0 here, or equal something, I could use the square root property we just learned in the last lesson. So, kind of went on a little side note here to show you why it works, why we even care. All you need to do for these problems is fill in b over 2 squared here, and then factor, and the number right here will always be b over 2. Let's try another one. So, in this next one, I erased part of my problem. That's going to make things confusing. All right. So this time my b number is 18. Start by doing b divided by 2. So b over 2 is 18 divided by 2, which is +9. And then I square that number. b over 2 squared is 9 squared, which is 81. 81 is the value that completes the square, aka what goes in the blank. And then to do my factoring, since my variable is a, this time it's going to be a. My b over 2 number, since it's a +9, it's going to be a +9, and then all squared. A couple more just to make sure we really got it. This time my b number is 2. b divided by 2 is 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So b over 2 squared is 1 squared, which is also 1. When you deal with ones, you end up with the same number in both spots sometimes, and that's okay. And then if it's negative, then one of them is going to be negative. But again, seeing the same number there, not a big deal. It's just because 1 squared is 1. This, technically, the squared version, goes here to complete the square. And to factor it, my variable this time is m, so m. b over 2 is a +1, so +1, the squared on the outside. Last one, my b number this time is -10. b divided by 2 is negative 10 divided by 2, which is negative 5. b divided by 2 squared is negative 5 squared. Negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Positive 25 goes here. For your factoring, your variable is z. b divided by 2 is negative 5. Whole thing is squared. So, a couple quick things here, but this is the process. It's all you have to do for your assignment today. It's kind of an in-between step to get us on to the next thing. Notice that the number that goes in the blank is always positive, and that's because when you square a number, you always get a positive answer. If you're using a calculator to help you square, make sure you use parentheses. If you put it into a calculator like this, your calculator will give you negative 25, which is incorrect because your calculator can't interpret this correctly without the parentheses. So, it'll always be a positive number here. Number here will be the same sign as whatever the b was you started with. Make sure when you write your factored answer that you do have this squared on the outside, otherwise it doesn't work out. That is it for today. Have a fantastic day.